Happy Friday. Yay! Hope y'all are having a good day so far. And if you're not having a good day, I'm so proud of you for suffering. Today is January 22nd, 2021. I will use inferencing skills to compare and contrast. I will do the work now. Use inferencing skills to imagination to form my opinion. And our close for today, I'm excited about this. We're going to write a paragraph to grab young ex-convicts' attention. Now, maybe a lot of us have never actually met a young ex-convict. Maybe we have. Maybe we have a family member who made mistakes. It doesn't really matter because you're just using your imagination. The article we're going to read is about being able to go to college without your prison record getting in the way. And if you start reading it right away, you will realize, hey, this is not written for teenagers. This is written for somebody else. So what I want you to do is take that information and you're going to write a paragraph on how would you rewrite this? How would you write this article if you were writing it, if you were trying to get the attention of somebody young who's struggling? And I think that's such a fun assignment. That's a good assignment to sink your teeth into and use your creativity. We're going to be thinking of what kind of slang, catchphrases, or language would you use for someone who is young, struggling, and ready to give up. And in this assignment, I mean, I don't really care if you use curse words. I don't care if you use those Anglo-Saxon four-letter words we were talking about a couple of days ago, because we know that's how people talk, especially young people, right? So we're going to use our riddle skills to combine street talk. Y'all know what I'm talking about. With an inspirational tone. And of course, we're going to use a casual register. We're not going to be all formal, trying to talk somebody into believing in themselves and maybe going to college if they think they can't. So I'm excited about this assignment. I hope y'all are too. And there's a lot of good possibilities, a lot of good things that you could do. And I look forward to looking at your answers and see what y'all come up with, because y'all are strong, confident, and successful. Oh, and that reminds me, let's do our affirmations, because they help us think positively, even if it's not natural for us. It sure as hell isn't natural for me. But it's become natural because I do it every day, 6 times a day with all my students. Y'all are such a blessing to me. All right, come on, let's do these. What are you? I am strong, confident, and successful. Yes, we are. We rock. And how do you feel about reading? I love reading.
It's so much fun.
Absolutely. And how do I feel about schoolwork?
The harder I work, the smarter I become.
Amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get to the reading in just a moment. But first, Carval's got his little comedy here. Okay. Do they allow try it again. Do they allow loud laughing in Hawaii? Or just aloha? Get it? Brum, psh. Loud laughing, aloha. Say it faster. Aloha. Oh, yeah, I know. It's not that funny. Hope you're laughing. And if you're not, that's okay. It's just so dumb. I love it.
That's a good one, Mr. Carval.
You're kind. You're a good person. Thank you. I just love goofy crap like this. Anyway, happy Friday, everybody. Okay, so remember, we have a document for all our assignments. And if you click here, it will open this up. These are the ones that are hurting most people's grades. If you have a grade in the 30s or the 40s or the 50s, you're probably either missing one or both of these. And they're not that difficult. What students have told me before is, Mr. Carvajal, if you go to your grades here, it just takes you straight to the assignment. Well, with this one, I don't take you to the assignment. I take you to that folder for the day. So if you want to review, oh, look, did you miss class today? Watch my teaching video. And guess what? It's video. So if you don't want to listen to Carvajal do positive affirmations again,
so happy Tuesday.
Good, skip it. Oh, I already did positive affirmations enough this year. So let me just, oh, look, here's the work.
The BCFS, the Teleton, anything like that you looked at yesterday, whatever you pick up that you're going to type in there.
Okay, and how do I do the citations? Let me, you know what I mean? You can skip around, you can watch things again. So be sure and take advantage of those videos because they really are helpful. And then you can take care of business. All the assignments, they're here. Plus, I already added the one that we're doing today, and the same as today. As all the others, it doesn't take you to this, right? It takes you to the actual folder where the assignment and the video will be. So just keep that in mind. This is available to you anytime, pretty much every day I have one, even if we don't have a graded assignment. But we do have a graded assignment, yay. I love writing. So, like I mentioned, we're going to read the article. I went from prison to professor. Here's why criminal records should not be used to keep people out of college by Stanley Andrees. We're going to write a paragraph to grab young ex-convicts' attention about going to college without their prison record getting in the way, right? Oh, I've already been to prison. My life's over. I'm just going to have to work sad little pathetic jobs because nobody will hire me. Well, you'll find out from this guy that doesn't have to be true. So remember, think, what kind of slang, what kind of catchphrases or language would you use for someone who is young, struggling, and ready to give up? Use your riddle skills to combine street talk, right? And you can use those good Anglo-Saxon four-letter words if you feel it's appropriate for your audience. You ain't going to get in trouble with me. But you want to combine that with an inspirational tone and a casual register, right? You're not going to be all formal because they're going to feel like you're talking down to them. So write a paragraph that is at least 4 lines, and I mean 4 lines on a laptop or Chromebook, right? Not on your phone. On a phone, it probably needs to be twice that. 4-line paragraph is a 70. 6-line paragraph is an 80. 7 is a 90, and 8 is 100. And you know what? Once you get writing and you get inspired, 8 lines is going to be easy. You just got to let yourself write, and once again, grab their attention and get them started on the idea that hell yeah, you can have a good life, you can be successful regardless of your past, and that's something I believe in strongly, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. So having said all that, just to get you thinking before we get reading, let's go ahead and open up. Actually, yeah, you can open it up. You don't need to open it up. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the screen for this. So just read along with me. If you are playing with your phone or you're on some kind of game, put it aside. You're a good person. And just like with the last one we did, you do not have to do the questions. Don't worry about the questions. All we're doing is the article and the paragraph that is a grade in Schoology. All right, remember we're going to use our imagination. We're going to make this into a documentary in our minds. And I went from prison to professor. Here's why criminal records should not be used to keep people out of college by Stanley Andrees, 2018. And you want to think about, why is he speaking in a formal register? Who do you think he's really speaking to? He is definitely not talking to ex-convicts here. Okay, read along with me. Dr. Stanley Andrees is the executive director of From Prison Cells to PhD Incorporated. This organization helps formerly incarcerated people obtain higher education. He is also assistant professor of medicine at Howard University. In his informational text, Dr. Andrees discusses access to higher education for people who are or previously were incarcerated. As you read, take notes on how education can affect someone who was or is incarcerated. Beginning in 2019, the Common Application, an online form that enables students to apply to the 800 or so colleges that use it, will no longer ask students about their criminal pasts. As a formerly incarcerated person who is now an endocrinologist and professor at 2 world-renowned medical institutions, Johns Hopkins Medicine and Howard University College of Medicine, I believe this move is a positive one. People's prior convictions should not be held against them in their pursuit of higher learning. While I am enthusiastic about the decision to remove the criminal history question from the Common Application, I also believe more must be done to remove the various barriers that exist between formerly incarcerated individuals such as myself and higher education. I make this argument not only as a formerly incarcerated person who now teaches aspiring medical doctors, but also as an advocate for people with criminal convictions. The organization I lead, From Prison Cells to PhD, helped push for the change on the Common Application. My own story stands as a testament to the fact that today's incarcerated person could become tomorrow's professor. A person who once sold illegal drugs on the street could become tomorrow's medical doctor. But this can only happen if such a person, and the many others in similar situations, are given the chance. There was a time not so long ago when some in the legal system believed I did not deserve a chance. With 3 felony convictions, I was sentenced to 10 years in prison for drug trafficking as a prior and persistent career criminal. My prosecuting attorney once stated that I had no hope for change. Today, I am Dr. Stanley Andrees. As a professor at Johns Hopkins University and Howard University, I now help train students who want to be doctors. I'd say that I have changed. Education was transformative. U.S. incarceration rates the highest. The United States needs to have more of this transformative power of education. The country incarcerates more people and at a higher rate than any other nation in the world. The U.S. accounts for less than 5% of the world population, but nearly 25% of the incarcerated population around the globe. Roughly 2.2 million people in the United States are essentially locked away in cages. About 1 in 5 of those people are locked up for drug offenses. I was one of those people in prison not so long ago. Early life of crime. Growing up in Ferguson, North St. Louis area, I started selling drugs and getting involved with other crimes at a very young age. I was arrested for the first time at age 14. By age 17, I was moving substantial amounts of drugs across the state of Missouri and the country. By my early 20s, I found myself sitting in front of a judge and facing 20 years to life for drug trafficking charges. The judge sentenced me to 10 years in state prison. When I stood in front of that judge, school was not really my thing. Although I was a successful student athlete and received a near full scholarship to play football for Linwood University, a Division II college football program, I found it difficult to get out of the drug business. To suffice it to say, there were people in the drug world who wanted me to keep moving drugs, and they made it clear that they would be extremely disappointed if I were to suddenly stop. So I continued. For this reason, I didn't view my undergraduate college experience the way I view my education now. The transformative power of education. Education provides opportunities for people with criminal records to move beyond their experience with the penal system and reach their full potential. The more education a person has, the higher their income. Similarly, the more education a person has, the less likely they are to return to prison. A 2013 analysis of several studies found that obtaining higher education reduced recidivism, the rate of returning to prison, by 43%, and was 4 to 5 times less costly than reincarcerating that person. The bottom line is education increases personal income and reduces crime. Despite these facts, education is woefully lacking among those being held in America's jails and prisons. Nearly 30% of America's incarcerated, about 690,000 people, are released each year, and only 60% of those individuals have a GED or high school diploma, compared to 90% of the overall U.S. population over age 25. And less than 3% of the people released from incarceration each year have a college degree, compared to 40% of the U.S. population. Rejected by colleges. I had a bachelor's degree by the time I went to prison, but never got the chance to put it to use. Then something tragic happened while I was serving time that prompted me to see the need to further my education. Due to complications of diabetes, my father had his legs amputated. He fell into a coma and lost his battle with type 2 diabetes. I was devastated. This experience made me want to learn more about how to fight this disease. While incarcerated, I applied to 6 biomedical graduate programs. I was rejected from all but one, St. Louis University. Notably, I had a mentor from St. Louis University who served on the admission committee. Without that personal connection, I'm not sure I would have ever gotten a second chance. I finished near the top of my graduate school class, suggesting that I was likely qualified for the programs that rejected me. Restore Pell Grants to incarcerated people. Based on the difficulty I experienced in going from prison to becoming a college professor, I believe there are things that should be done to remove barriers for incarcerated or formerly incarcerated people who wish to pursue higher education. One of those barriers is cost. When the government removed Pell funding from prisons by issuing the Tough on Crime Law Enforcement Act of 1994, the vast majority of colleges offering courses in prisons stopped. Due to the federal ban on receiving Pell Grants while incarcerated, most of those serving time are not able to afford to take college courses while in prison. The Obama administration took a step toward trying to restore Pell Grants for those in prison with the Second Chance Pell pilot. The program has given over 12,000 incarcerated individuals across the nation the chance to use Pell Grants towards college courses in prison. Through the program, 67 colleges and universities are working with over 100 prisons to provide college courses to the incarcerated. This program is at risk of being discontinued at the end of 2018. Historically, some have argued that allowing Pell dollars to be used by those in prison takes precious Pell dollars from people who did not violate the law. However, the current Second Chance Pell pilot funding being directed to the prisons, $30 million, accounts for 0.1% of the total $28 billion of Pell funding. Even if the program were expanded based on historical levels, it would still amount to 0.5% of all Pell funding. This is justified by the impact that Pell dollars would have in prison terms for reducing recidivism. Removing questions about drug crimes from federal aid forms. Federal policymakers could increase opportunities by removing question 23 on the federal student aid form that asks if applicants have been convicted of drug crimes. A 2015 study found that nearly 66% of would-be undergraduates who disclosed a conviction on their college application did not finish their application. Federal student aid applicants likely feel the same discouragement. I felt discouraged myself when I was applying to graduate programs, when I came across the question about whether I had ever been convicted of a crime. It made me feel like I was nothing more than a criminal in the eyes of the college gatekeepers. The question also disproportionately affects people of color, since people of color are disproportionately impacted by the criminal justice system. Furthermore, the question runs the risk of making formerly incarcerated people feel isolated and less valuable than those who've never gotten in trouble with the law. When people who have been incarcerated begin to feel like they don't belong and higher education is not for them, our nation will likely not be able to realize their potential and hidden talents. It will be as if we have locked them up and thrown away the key. All right, great article. And of course, our system is still not perfect. and things aren't perfect, but once again, you can apply for college, you can apply for loans, especially if you were no longer incarcerated, right? It's much easier. And on the common application, once again, you do not have to put anything on there. They do not ask you about your criminal past. And that's what we're trying to focus on, right? We're not trying to recreate what he wrote, because obviously he was not writing for young people. Who is he writing for? I think he was writing for people in charge, right? He's writing for middle class, middle-aged people who vote, who might have a say, and people in charge. His tone is pretty formal, isn't it? He's writing as a college professor, and he's writing to educational professors. He's writing for politicians. He's not writing to help young people, but we're here to switch that up, right? And that's the point of this writing today. So don't worry about trying to write it just like he wrote. You're just going to mention that, hey, going to college is easier now because Common Application Form enables students to apply. You're going to write something in your own words that's going to grab people's attention. Mr. Carville, I'm not sure how to do it. It's okay, do it wrong. Just write something. This is rough draft writing. It's just it's a discussion question, right? So you put your paragraph in there, you turn it in, you're done. If you got it done and you got the 8 lines, you're going to get 100. If you got at least 4 lines, you're going to get a 70. The only way to get a bad grade is to not do it. So remember, you were strong, confident, and successful. Get it done. And then enjoy your weekend. And if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Message me, I'm here.